Okay, so last week, not last week, probably a few weeks ago, maybe last week, we were talking about really each pattern, how it, works within the market. All right. And then I told you at the end is really you just look at the D, right? Because there's not so much to learn about these harmonic patterns because they're just regular M's and W's. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, you know, even when you start to, dive off into like, market structure and you dive off into something else, But with these specifically harmonic patterns, they don't change. All right, they're nature based. They don't change. Besides the Gartley, I don't think I ever seen an animal named the Gartley. So, I mean, yeah, none of these change. All right, but let me just show you this right here. I have a series of pictures I would actually like to show you. So, you don't realize it yet. I'm waiting for somebody to, as the many times we have these classes, I'm waiting for somebody to tell me, hey, oh, that looks like a M, that looks like a W, that looks like a bat pattern showing or a crab pattern. But this is just regular market. If I were to go, to the Forex market right now and pull up a chart and then look at this without the triangles, without the bats, without, all this, going on, you wouldn't have a clue that it was a bat or, a crab. Because with the market like this, it's comfortable. It's doing its thing. It's in its confluence, I guess you could say. And you just don't realize it until you sit down and you focus and then you do regular. I'm not going to go too much into market structure, but you do regular trend lines. You do your regular support and your resistance. And then you see this as the market is, getting closer to that, to that end where it's either going to shoot up, which it looks like it, or it's going to, retrace, go back down. All right. So when I first started the training, we were talking about how you do these patterns and you would want it to have, it forms that certain triangle, ABC, this certain triangle. But you can see if you're on here with me on my first class about it, these don't have to be perfect patterns. They don't have to be perfect. But you have to notice a pattern, you see. But this right here, this is a tricky pattern because you're actually trying to draw a pattern up into the future, which I mean is once you start doing these, I mean you get better at it and then you get used to it. But this isn't even forming, a pattern. To me, it's not forming a pattern at all. I got this off of, an online website called dolphintrader.com. This doesn't even look like a pattern. So I wouldn't trade something like this. I wouldn't even try to, give me a second, guys. Yes. See, I wouldn't even attempt to even try to make a pattern out of this because what most people would do, they're so anxious to get in the market and then they'll start drawing up patterns. See, it is very expensive, very, very expensive to go against the market. The market does not go on your favor. You try to go in the favor of the market is going. That's the plan. That is the plan. All right. So right here is a series of Forex chart patterns, and bear with me because I'm going to also be drawing up some bats or some crab patterns. Just simple M and W patterns is probably what I'm going to be drawing up today. So we can look at, most of these patterns look kind of, very familiar, especially this one in the middle. It's called the head and shoulders. I mean, it's pretty much how it says. You got your head and then you have your left and right shoulder. All right. Well, that's one of my favorite patterns. It's not really showing a specific, bat pattern or, crab pattern, but it is showing a pattern that I like to use, Head and shoulders always, gives me a great return. And then you have, this is what I call the breakout box. So you would draw your support right about here and then your resistance right about here. And there's a saying that goes that the market moves in threes. Still have to figure out that saying, but like I said, this W right here. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it hits its support 3 times and then broke out of the box. So 1, 2, 3, and it continues to go out of the box. And also right here, 1, 2, well, 1, 2, and then if it were to retrace, then it would hit the box again and then further go back up. So I'm going to try to send you these in a group chat. I haven't actually set up yet because I've been busy, but this is what you need to pay attention to. You know, you get in the market and you expect it to go in your favor, and then sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't, and that's okay. But it takes practice to know what these patterns are, and you're not going to go into the market knowing every pattern. You know, I go in the market looking for specifically the rectangle, which I call the breakout box. Either one of these, a symmetric triangle, forming those M's and W's right here. And then I look at the head and shoulders. That's all I look at. So just head and shoulders, rectangles, and then I look at the symmetric, specifically this one, the symmetrical triangle. All right. I'm trying to keep it simple because, you know, people will come up with so many trading strategies, and it just takes one strategy to stick with. It just takes patience. And it's not hard. It's not hard at all. So this is really what I wanted to get to today. So everybody knows, so trading the news, it can be rewarding and then it can be not so rewarding, because trading the news can be very difficult because you don't know where the market is really going to go, because it might go in your favor and it might not. But this, I wouldn't call this a bat pattern, but I would call it sun pattern. All right. It's forming either a Gartley or I would say more like a crab. All right. Because if you go all the way to the top, I'll show you. So it'd be pretty much like a crab because you have this long BCD. All right. The crab is pretty long about that. All right. If I go back to it, see this BCD, so a long crab. This is what it's forming. So usually, I don't always catch the news, but I try my best. So with this, obviously, you never see the market just go straight up from this, you know, because you see the market is always consolidating when the news comes, you know, right before the news comes out. Sometimes it doesn't. But most of the time, when it's like high impact news, this is what you'll see. And this is a nice drop. I don't know how many pips this is, but this is a nice drop to get in. You know, the market is doing its thing, starts consolidating, and then it just, you know, drops to the floor. All right. So I wouldn't worry about, you know, trying to draw up some pattern when it comes to the news, because the news is kind of tricky. But if you do, and it looks similar to this, I could say this, you know, this, if I were to draw, you know, before the news, I was drawing this up, like, hey, it looks like a sell. I would have probably put my stop loss probably right above here, right at that tip of the triangle. And then take profit, who knows, I would have had to look to the left of the chart. All right. So this is once again a crab, but so my first class, I was talking about Fibonacci numbers, right? And, you know, the retracement zones. And I was telling you not to really focus on the the Fibonacci numbers, but it's always something good to look at, all right? So you notice this B right here almost touches, if not, yeah, touches the 61.8 and then bounces off, all right? And then it goes all the way down to the 61.8. But if you can see right here, this is called the B rule, right? Something traders really don't pay attention when drawing up these patterns. But, you know, it's something that, you know, I tend to look at. So when you're looking at, you know, this pattern right here, you notice, like I said, look at the D, wherever the D is going. So if the D is at the bottom, it's a buy, and if the D is at the top, then it's a sell, right? So look at the B rule. So the B cannot touch the 78.6, retracement of X to C, right? So if the B touches 78.6, then it's not even, I wouldn't consider this a pattern, right? Because if you can see that if it touches this, then possibly it could continue to go down and then not form this pattern over here like it did, right? Okay. So let's see. Let me go to TradingView so I can actually drop some charts with y'all. Share. Ooh, okay. So this was Euro NZD. I called for a sell. Well, actually got into a sell right about here. Right here. But let me tell you why, right? You get anxious. I was telling everybody, I think it was on my second class, how it could possibly, you know, drop, or it can, you know, it could possibly, you know, go to this resistance right here, in which it did. It did go to this resistance, and then it bounced off and continued, right? But overall, it looks like a buy, right? It looks like a buy. And this is on a 4-hour chart, which you can use this on almost all time frames, right? But if you were to extend this, right, somewhere right here, it still is, you know, it's still going to retrace. But the tricky thing about these patterns, right, is that you have to look at, you know, you have to look to the left of the, you know, of the pattern, right? Because it hit this right here, and it could possibly go in further to these, you know, these resistance lines, all right? It could possibly go any further. But I'm hoping for it to go, you know, break through the cloud, because right now the cloud isn't going into an upward move. It's just kind of consolidating. It's more like a flat cloud. And also, if you look at, I don't know how familiar y'all are with the Ichimoku cloud. Does everybody know what the ECC11 is? Let me know in the chat so I can kind of, you know, go along with it while I'm teaching about harmonic patterns. Yes. Okay, all right. Yes, ECC11. So right here, the red, well, you know that if the red is below the blue, you know that it's a sell. And then if the red is above the blue, then you know it's a buy. So right here, the red is above and it is moving. Euro NZD is doing what, you know, what I said. Hopefully it'll continue to go through the cloud, and then it'll, you know, go into that sell. Hopefully, because I am in the trade right now. So, you know, as you know, that when the red is, you know, below the blue, it is a sell. And that's exactly what it did. So it hit a little bit, you know, its resistance right here. Crossed, the red was above the blue, so it did cross up into a buy, and then it's crossing again into a sell. You know, it already did its cross, and then it's already going into a sell, right? And this would be, you know, this would be a crab pattern. And there, you know, there are so many, you know, patterns you can get into, you know, bat, crab, Gartley, what have you. But, you know, I told you just to look at the D, because the D, you know, it is just the main thing that will determine if it's a buy or a sell. Because everything left of the D, it is important, don't get me wrong, but the D is the most important factor, right? The D is the most important factor. All right. All right, let's see if I can pull up a chart. I'm just going to pull up a naked chart, and then I'm just going to see if we can see if I can find, you know, a pattern to draw up, right? So it looks like I drew this up. Give me a second. So let's get rid of all of these. Move all drawing tools. Okay, all right, cool. So let's see if we can find a pattern in GBP USD. All right, let's see. So let's draw up some regular support and resistance lines. Because that's really, so really step one is when you just drawing up your support and your resistance lines, right? And then you dive into the patterns, right? You dive into the patterns. Let's move this up a little bit. I mean, if you have any questions, feel free to ask, because sometimes I can talk a little bit fast. So just let me know if I need to slow down or if I need to, you know, further dive into something, you know, something that you don't understand. All right, let's see if this is a pattern. Let's see, X, A, B, C. I can see this being a pattern. All right, let's see. All right, X, A, B, C, and then you got D somewhere up here, right? Somewhere up here. See, on the 15-minute, you know, it's not forming, you know, that complete, you know, the B. Let's look at the B to the C. So the B to the C isn't, you know, the Forex candles aren't really, you know, going down. They're going down, but they're not so close to B and C like A and C is. You know, A and C are pretty much, you know, how can I put it? I'm trying to use the right choice of words. Okay, so the candles are pretty much inside A and B. But then you look at B and C, kind of not, right? Kind of not. But it's still showing a pattern. It might not be, you know, the best pattern, but it's still showing a pattern. So let's look at the 1 hour, right? Okay, a little bit better on the 1 hour. Let's see. So the reason I like using the cloud with this is because it really gives me my entry points, right? So let's say that, you know, the cloud was predicting, let's talk about the T and the K crossing. So the TK cross, let's say that the red cross below the blue right here, then I would have gotten to a sell right here. But it didn't, because it crossed into a buy, right? You caught that little bit, I don't know how many trips that is, but you caught that little bit of that dive going up, right? So let's get into gold. These are some of my favorite pairs. And if you need me to, if you would like me to look at a, you know, a trade that you're in and possibly give you insight on where it's going, then, you know, I wouldn't mind doing that, right? So this was my second class. I was actually talking about gold. You can see these these patterns showing, these patterns forming, these M and W's, right? So X, A, B, C, D went into a sell right here. Then I also did X, A, B, C, D. Then you could have caught that, you know, that sell right here, right? So when people tell you, you know, I know a lot of people who trade the cloud, like, don't trade it when it's in the cloud, don't trade it when it's, you know. I like trading when I love trading when I can catch these M and W's because it's easy. The market isn't doing anything, and the market isn't, you know, news isn't coming out. So you're not guaranteed to make money, but you're guaranteed to make something, right? So I actually made, you know, pretty good, you know, this is a pretty good trade for me when I was in gold on the hour. You know, I was selling right here, you know, and I was telling you, you look at that, I would call this the breakout box, right? Right up in here, right? This is pretty much like the breakout box. One, hit support right here, hit support, resistance right here. Hit resistance right here, but you can see it kind of went up, but then again, it dropped back down, right? So this is a trade that I was in, and I kind of wrote it, you know, hour by hour. So this is pretty good, you know, because when you look at what do you call it? Consolidation. That's the word. When you look at consolidation, right? People say don't get into consolidation because you don't know where the market is going. Well, I'm going to tell you this. The market is doing what it wants. It's comfortable. The only time the market isn't comfortable is when it's doing these right here. This is when the market is excited. And the market obviously doesn't want to, be excited, right? And I also drew another bat for y'all, really. Oh, crap. It was more like a bat, right? So this was a pretty good trade. I don't know if I have any new people on here, but there is a PowerPoint that explains, the different numbers and the different, patterns. And if you're new, just put in the chat, and then, I will get with you as soon as possible so I can send you that PowerPoint. That way, the next training we get on to, you don't have, you're not confused about anything, right? So this is a good trade, right? This is a good trade. Forming it really forms like a U, right? But we're not going to get into that, right? So you have your X. Do this for y'all again. Your X right here, and then just look at ABC for a minute, right? Just look at it. We're just talking about regular geometry. So we want ABC right here down here to form a triangle, really, because if that forms a triangle, PowerPoint please. I've been hand drawing them out from Christopher Terry videos. Got you. I was in a PowerPoint, no problem. Yeah, Christopher Terry. When I first, got on with, got with iMarkets Live, he was doing the patterns, and he's spot on. So yeah, with these, so just look at this. It's forming a pattern if you look at A, B, and C, right? That's really what I look at. As X is really just your entry point, right? I was telling you that, when the red crosses, below the blue, to get into a sale. But really, let's not focus on X. Let's focus on A, B, C, and D, but mainly A, B, and C. Because if A, B, and C forms a triangle, then you can just, throw up the D, anywhere pretty much. Not anywhere, but, that sooner or later it's going to drop because, A, B, and C has formed that triangle, right? All right. Let's look at US 30. I don't know if y'all trade US 30 as such a volatile index or stock. All right. X, A, B, C. So let's look at the 15-minute, right? Nothing's really happening with the 15-minute. X, A, B, C, E. And then when you do these patterns, they're not always going to be horizontal, right? And I'll show you what I mean by horizontal. They can be sideways, right? They can be sideways. See, forming a, is not a perfect triangle, right? It's not a perfect triangle. But then you see this consolidation, right? Now look at this. So where is it? Where is gold headed? Give me 1 second, and I'll talk about gold. But so pay attention to this right here. I'm about to share my screen to the Word document. So earlier when we started this, I was talking about this consolidation, and that the market just don't, I'm not trying to say what the market does or doesn't, but the market just doesn't, just shoot up, because you've seen the market, what the market does. When there's consolidation like this, rarely, I don't think I've ever seen the market just shoot up like this through consolidation. Most of the time, what the market would do is it would do this right here. It will shoot down, right? And most of the time. So, and US 30, today was very high. It was very high because it was, last week it done its, it's plummeting. So it kind of had to, make up for that. But I can see US 30 going into a sale. If not, and you look to the, left, it could, further go up. It could further go up, It could further go right here, or it can further, go right here. So you could further go into a buy. But I can see this going into a sale, consolidating, right? So let's look at gold. XAUS. So on the 15-minute, gold is still a sale, right? Still a sale. I can't really say that this is really forming a pattern, because through all consolidation, it's not going to give you M's and W's every time. It's not going to, it's just not, right? See, this is really, I drew it, I drew it up, and you get better with these, at times, plenty of practice, right? You're not just going to dive into the market and expect to get this, But gold, I can see it continue going into a sale. But what most people would do, and then, I'm still a young trader, and I'm still learning. But when I first started, when things like this happen, right? When news happens, or when whatever affects the market, and sometimes when you get into a market and it makes a dive down or makes a dive up, sometimes there isn't a reason. There really isn't. Sometimes it just doesn't, right? It just doesn't. And it doesn't always have to be a reason for why the market moves in such a way. Sometimes it just doesn't. But when I was, I first started, I would expect, so this is me when I first got into the markets, this is selling, so I'm going to get right here, right? Sell, 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 sell is going to go all the way down into a sell. And then it retraces back up, and then I've blown my account just like that, because I've over leveraged my account, right? But if you look at the cloud, you're going to have some pullbacks, right? Right here. But what it could do, it could, go through the cloud right here, act as a resistance, and it can continue to go down. But let's look at the 1 hour, because when doing these, you can't just you can't just focus on one time frame, right? You have to focus on all time frames. So the 15-minute, looks like a sale. It looks like it'll continue into a sale. But right now, it's kind of choppy. It's going to do its, its consolidation, right? It's going to continue to do its consolidation. So let's look at the 1 hour. Let's delete this. All right. Also looks like a sale, right? You're going to have your minor pullbacks, but then you look over here through the cloud, it still continues to look like a sell, right? Still continues to look like a sell. So there's not much to talk about when it comes to, I'm sure there's a lot, more information, but I've been busy for the past 2 weeks. So, I'm kind of getting back, into the groove of things, haven't traded in about 2 weeks. So bear with me, people, bear with me. I'm going to get there. All right. I'm going to get there. Does anybody have any questions or like to go over anything about the market or, just anything dealing with, the market? Any question, If you want to see where Ripple is going, you want to see where Bitcoin is going, you want to see, come on, no problem. Because I know some of you are already in the trade or you're expecting, something to happen tomorrow and you're getting in this, right? So, can you show the tool you grab in TradingView real quick? So the tool, like, what do you mean tool? So kind of explain that. Like when I draw the XABCD patterns, or isn't it the one below the T? Okay, all right, yeah. So yeah, it is, right? So these are all your patterns, right? Don't worry about the Elliott triangle wave, none of those, right? But head and shoulders, something I use. I'm going to show y'all, I just might do a class, sometime this week again. Who knows how my schedule is. But I can, I'm going to, dive into the head and shoulders because I think that's, one of my favorite things to do. And then you have, the one I use is XABCD, right? This is the one I mainly use. That's the one I draw up with all of the charts, right? Cool, thanks. We've been on here for 34 minutes, and it doesn't seem like that long. So with these patterns, right? They're pretty simple to learn. They're really. Give me a second. I downloaded the free MT4 one you showed me at the beginning. I'm going to delete it. Yeah, just delete it. Yeah, TradingView is nice. You have to pay for the pro version to get some things extra, but it's pretty nice. So, what was I talking about? Let me think. Oh, these are really simple. These are really simple to get, Rael. It is because what you're doing is you're predicting it yourself, right? It's almost like you're doing naked charting. You don't have any indicators on or anything like that, right? It's like you're doing it yourself. Because what you do is when you draw up these patterns, right? And you look at the D, and you see if the D is at the top or it's at the bottom. And then you're predicting it, to go into a sell or a buy, right? And when you do these patterns, what's the best thing about these patterns is when you draw it up and you put the D, it is good to either put, so for a buy, it is good to put the D right at a resistance, right? Right at a resistance when it's a buy, because it resists that resistance line and then it continues, into a sell, right? So if it's a sell and then the D is at a support, right? So let's see if I can find okay, cool. I can draw gold. Yeah, I think this is a pattern. Yeah, sideways. Okay, cool. All right. See, you don't even notice these patterns until you actually draw. By the time you draw up a pattern, it's kind of already too late. But really, it isn't, right? Because all this right here, the market is doing its own thing. I already did the candlestick patterns and everything else, right? But then you look at, as soon as you put the D, And it's really about patience, because I was going to ask you where to put the D. Yeah. Okay. Um, so the D. So bear with me. So when you're buying, right? When the market is going, it's doing its, normal buy, and then you look for really a resistance for it to retrace, right? So if you have any notes, just put buy when the market is moving into a buy, look for its resistance, and it bounces off that resistance and it goes into a short sale, right? You're catching a pullback. Really, yeah, it really is. You're really catching pullbacks with these patterns. But sometimes you can draw these up, or all the time you can draw these up on a like day chart or month, or months, and then sometimes you can do a price reversal or a change in the market. Usually, right? And it's crazy because almost every pattern you see, it's just M's and W's. X, A, B, C, D. See, I can draw another one. Let's see. X, A, B, C. So, not going to be perfect, but I can show you, right? X, A, B, C, D, right? You could have called that, that short sale, right? That short sale. Let's see. What time frame says the harmonic pen is for this one? Yeah, it doesn't really matter about the time frames you use it on, because you can use it on almost all of them. But I like a clear chart. I don't like to use it so much on the 15-minute. Right. If I'm trying to, get, I guess you would say easy profit or quick profit, then yes, I would use the 15-minute. But if I'm, going long, or, a day trader, just catching pips, sitting back, then I would just, I would focus on the 1 hour, or you can do the 4 hour. It really depends on your account, right? Because some people just don't have that patience. And then again, it just takes time, right? It just takes time. I promise you all, I'm going to come with some more new stuff about harmonic patterns, because, I'm just starting this class. I'm just kind of, getting into it. So it's going to take me a while. It's going to take me a while. Just like ECC 11, right? It took, Dr. K, pretty good, while to, get, all her, I guess you would say supporters, and, it took her a while. And it takes, it just takes a while, for all this information to be retained. It just takes time. But I tell you this, just follow through the plan, right? Just follow through the plan. I'm going to be coming out with the group soon, and I'm also going to be coming out with steps into actually how to draw up these, right? How to, draw up these patterns, right? And I wouldn't focus on, if it's a bat, or, if it's a crab or a gartley. I would just focus on the D, because where the D is, that's where, the market is going to be, right? So yeah, that's exactly where it's going to be. And then there can be, you can pull, so let's see if I can go to the month, right? So let's just remove all drawing tools, right? So gold, let's just drop some regular support and let's do regular resistance, right? This is on the monthly chart, right? I'm just going to show y'all something real quick. X, A, B, C, Just regular, and I'm gonna just bear with me, y'all. Give me 1 second. All right, 1 second. Come on. Okay, all right. So let's draw up a pattern on the monthly chart. X, A, B. We can either put C right here, or we can put C right here, right? Because really, it doesn't really matter, really. Because, in the PowerPoint, I explained the numbers. It formed a triangle right here, but it looks like it forms a better triangle right here, right? So if D and D, so if gold continues to, it looks like it bounced off this, it resisted this, this line right here, right? So, and then if you look at the cloud, it also looks like it's going into a buy, right? So gold can continue to either go up here, it continue just go into a buy, but it's still forming that pattern because if you look down here, it looks like a triangle, right? Still looks like a triangle, right? So, gold is, I would say gold is continuing to a buy, right? Does the B rule apply to all harmonic patterns? So the B rule is really, I explain it. Yes, it does apply to all the patterns because, I'll get into, Fibonacci numbers, a little bit later on because Fibonacci numbers can be a little bit confusing to people, and I don't really want to confuse people. But yeah, the B rule, it applies to all. It really does. Yeah. It really does. You notice that most of these that I'm showing y'all are more like a sell. If it is at the top, it's a sell. But because when it comes to doing the opposite, it's kind of, to me, it's hard to actually find where the market is going to shoot up into a buy, right? Because when it's just, to me, it's just easier to sell with these when it comes to drawing up these patterns, right? Let me give y'all one more trade, right? AU or USD. So now this is what I'm talking about. You have your M's and W's, right? All right, let me show y'all real quick. X, A, B, C, D. Sell, right? Boom, right here. Now watch her do it. X, A, B, C, D. Look, could have sold all the month, right? Right here. See, this is what I mean when it comes to recognizing these patterns, because there's so much. There's so much that you don't even realize this. And this is the month. This is the month, right? So you could have drawn up this pattern and then boom, you could have sold all of this for the month, right? And I also was talking about the breakout box, right? Not perfect, but let's say right here, right? 1, 2, 3, right? And then it continues to go into a sell. Like I said, the market moves in threes, right? Support, support, support. Went back up. And then you think that it's going to continue, but it doesn't because it hits that resistance right here at the cloud, and then it continues down. That's why I like using the cloud, right? And then if you can see it, X, A, B, C, E. So Euro USD monthly, the red is above the blue, right? So what it can continue to do is, let's see, it could go possibly like this, straight through the cloud. It's just straight through the cloud. Yeah. So that's what I like about these patterns, right? It's just basic geometry, and then it's just basic M's and W's, can't really go much further into this. I'll go into, further into, head and shoulders and a lot of other things, but, it's probably giving me like a week. Then I'll come with some new things that go along with, the patterns. And then, I can also explain these different numbers, but, it's really irrelevant because all you look at is, where the D is. So, anybody have any questions about anything? But I want to focus on the cloud more and how that relates to the patterns, or, also, you just get used to these, really. Look, I can drop a pattern right now. XA, right? Right here, just drew up another pattern and then continue to a sale. Is this recorded? Yeah, it's recorded. Yep, most definitely. So the B point relate to fib entering a trade at 50% through 61.8. Let me see. Does it say it on my? Because sometimes I get confused with the numbers myself. All right, give me a second. B, C, C. Yes, yes. So the B is usually yes. You're absolutely right. I think fib is entering at 50%. Yes, it most definitely is. Yep. Because the B bounces off the 61.8%, right? Good. I watched Chris Terry. Yes, that's good. Yep, that's good. I haven't went back to the back office in, I don't know, years. So it's been a while since I've actually had some of the videos they put out now. But yeah, but be excited about this. Be excited about this, because imagine when you just drop these, like, I know nobody, like all right, okay, the mindset of people now, or the mindset, the goal is to to become rich overnight. And I can't say that it's not possible, but people have a way of putting their mindset on something and they do it, right? So I would encourage. So I'm just starting out and what's playing on since I've watched. Yeah. So I would start, doing these patterns, and it's easier to me on the monthly. Money will come. You just, like I said, money will come. Not you chase money. Money will come, right? It doesn't matter how long it's going to take. Just know that it's going to come, right? So if you would have stayed patient long enough, you could have caught these patterns. But nobody does it because nobody wants to, wait that long. Nobody wants to wait a month for all of this, right? This is, let's see. So we get in the sale right here. 1, 2, 3. So yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Right here. 7 months, right? You could, half a year and another month. You could have called all of that, And then you could have, done your regular, I told myself I wasn't going to teach market structure because that's not my tea, right? I don't really do it. But, you drop your regular, just your regular. See what I mean? It's just something simple, right? It's just something simple, right? And then you think it's going to continue into a buy, but then again, it hit it 1, 2, 3. The market moves in threes and then bounce back off, and then it hit this resistance right here. And then what we really can see is it moving, going back down, because it just doesn't look like it's ready to go out of the cloud just yet. It's in the cloud, but it just doesn't look like it's ready to go out. At least I don't think it's ready to go out, right? So yeah, just all you have to do is, all you have to be is patient. because this could have given you plenty of return, plenty of return, right? Even if you didn't get out, you could have still rolled the M's and W's all the way unto here, right here, right? This probably would have been, a year or two, but I mean, that's why you have your different accounts. You have your long-term trading accounts, and then you have your short-term trading accounts, and then you have your day trading accounts. That's what I say, right? That's what I say. So, I mean, if nobody has any questions for me or anything, if you learn something, useful, just let me know, put it in the chat. And if you want me to improve on something, then most definitely I'll do it, because we're all here to learn. We're all here to focus. We're all here to be greedy. We were all ready to dive in and get some of these pips, right? So if nobody has any questions, let's see. I greatly appreciate it. Yep. And send me a message, Deborah, so I can send you the PowerPoint. And if anybody needs the PowerPoint, then most definitely I will send it to you. So not for sure when I will be on next. So just watch Facebook, watch the group chat, and then you'll be able to, keep up with the messages, right? So, I don't think I have anything good. If I went fast, just let me know, right? Just let me know, because sometimes I can. How do I send you a message? Okay, I'm going to send you. Are you in Dr. K's chat? I'm going to send you my Telegram name, right? So to reach me on Telegram, let me put it in the chat. So just search up that, and then you'll be able to reach me out right here, and then I'll most definitely give you that thing. So yeah, a chat is coming soon, so just be ready for that. I'm also going to be giving you trading setups, and obviously this is free. I don't. A lot of people will, it shouldn't cost money to be financially independent, right? It should be free, because that is what, educators owe you. That is what, to get the right and useful information, I think is just free. I don't think, you should be able to, pay, right? So I hope that everybody has a great trading week. Also, I do want to give you something else. So it's kind of good to know what's happening, happening in the market. Let me do a new share. Share, yeah. All right. Forex Factory. Not for sure if y'all are familiar with Forex Factory, but it pretty much tells you what's happening, right? So when you get into a trade and you start doing these, these patterns, and then they don't go in the right direction, then possibly there's a high impact news that has just came out, or sometimes it just doesn't go in your favor. And then I'm not going to say it doesn't go into your favor, but it does have, when you draw up these patterns, they do, it does go with the pattern. But the thing is, sometimes they have how do I explain this? They have a higher pullback than others, right? Because sometimes you get into the trade, you drop the pattern, you look at the D, and let's say it's a sale, and then you instantly go in profit, and then boom, great, everybody makes money. But that's not always the case, because sometimes it has a greater pullback, than other pairs, and that's okay, right? That's okay. That's why you prepare yourselves mentally before you go into the market, right? So yeah, this is Forex Factory. I'm sure everybody knows about this, but just kind of look at Forex Factory and look at the news and see what's going on. and then you wonder why the trade is going in your opposite favor, then you know what's wrong with it, right? So put in the Dr. K's chat or Facebook chat. Tell me how I did. If I did bad, let me know. If I did good, let me know. All right. Hope everybody has a blessed day, and I will see y'all in the upcoming. Who knows? Could see y'all tomorrow. Who knows? All right. Have a great day.